We're moving on to another story now. The Inkatha Freedom Party leader Velenkosini Hlabisa is expected to launch the IFP's private member bill, the employment services in Gauteng. This follows a similar launch in Kwazulu Natal on Workers' Day. The IFP says the main aim of the private members bill is to provide what the party calls a real solution to youth unemployment. For more on this story, we take you now live to SABC News reporter Natasha Piri, who joins us now. Natasha, it's great to have you on the program. A very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. Talk to us about the main aim of this launch.
Well, very good morning to Mkolis and of course to our SABC viewers. We're coming to you all the way from Soweto here at the Uncle Thomas Hall. And I think in your introduction, you've actually encapsulated everything to do with the IFP's Youth Brigade's IFP private membership bill. In other words, the Employment Services Amendment Bill. And like you've correctly cited there, the IFP leader, Velenkosini Hlabisa, will be here to address these young members of the party. But to join, to speak to me more about this, I'm actually joined by another young person himself. He's no stranger to us as SABC News or the Nation, the spokesperson of the IFP, and of course a member of Parliament. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. This is the second leg of this bill that you're trying to implement. I mean, what does it entail for those who actually don't know what it is?
Right, thank you very much. Good morning, Tash, and to the viewers. Essentially, what the amendment proposes to do, which we have tabled in Parliament through Comrade Lizo van der Merwe, as it is a private members bill, is essentially to amend the Employment Services Act, amongst others, to say there must be a prioritization of South Africans in a certain strata of jobs which are available in the country. Low entry jobs, for example, are what we are prioritizing. It cannot be that those skills are not readily available in South Africa. Also, the challenge, of course, with employing foreign nationals who are undocumented specifically is that therefore they don't pay tax, and amongst other things. So there's another ripple effect to that insofar as the movement of people is concerned. What we really want to clarify is that this is not a xenophobic bill. What it seeks to do is to formalize also for foreign nationals employment in the country. But what we are saying is that if I've got a business, I must be able to have proven first that I tried to find the skill in South Africa and was unable to get it. But of course, waitering, Uber drivers, petrol station attendants, cashiers, amongst us, those are all jobs really which South Africans actually need. So what we are doing with, as you said, is the second leg. We are rolling this out to our structures to unpack it for them in terms of what it means. We began this process in 2020 already. It was a decision of caucus in our strat plan, and in analysing what was going on in the party, subsequently endorsed it. The bill has now, of course, been finally put together and is going through all the stages. So this is a consultative process, but also to unpack it for our structures, because public hearings we are expecting must be undertaken by the Portfolio Committee on Employment and Labour. So essentially what this bill does is to prioritize South Africans for jobs. It, of course, along the way will draw in other discussions which we need to have. The scarce skills register, for example, it has to be updated regularly, and that has not been happening. And so it makes it very difficult for employers. But what we're very clear about is that it cannot be that in a business establishment where you've got waiters, for example, that 9 out of 10 are not South Africans. But at the same time, we understand the human rights responsibilities that South Africa has insofar as foreign nationals who are in the country. But at the same time, our primary responsibility as a country is South Africans and their sustainable livelihoods.
You've actually answered my following question, but I mean, like you said, that it will be tabled before Parliament. Do you think that this bill will actually get the support of various other political parties?
Well, we hope so. If you are pro-South Africa, if you are wanting us to deal with the unemployment challenge, if you are wanting us to deal with the challenges at Home Affairs, then you will support this bill. Of course, what we are observing is that the Minister of Employment and Labour is also now bringing a bill which seeks to duplicate what we are doing. But we were going to press on with this bill, and there's a recognition in Parliament, in government, and in South Africa that we've got a problem and we've got a challenge. The thing is, if businesses are allowed to continue on what we can only call a reckless trajectory of actually not dealing with this problem to assist South Africans, then we are leaving them to a device which is not in the collective national interest. We fully understand, of course, that there is a challenge of very rigid labor laws in the country, but this certainly can't count as one of them, because what we are saying is that look around you, there's South Africans. It also calls upon the Department of Higher Education and Training to strengthen, the internship programs, to strengthen what is happening in our TVET colleges, to recalibrate what is happening there, so that you are actually creating the necessary skills, knowledge and expertise that are required by the job market. So this bill, in our view, seeks to trigger a long discussion which will require policy interventions and policy fixes to actually deal with that. Is it a silver bullet? No, it's not. But at the very least, it is a step in the right direction, and the right step, because that is also very, very important. So ultimately, we are saying you've got almost 10 million South Africans who are seated at home, who do not have access to jobs, and there are jobs in South Africa, but those jobs are not actually being given to South Africans. And so it is, yes, a put South Africans first outlook that we have.
And youth unemployment is an all-time record high, over 65%. Let's talk about the process of engaging with young people, not only in IFP structures, but I mean just broader society. A young person who's sitting at home saying that I want to take probably part in this bill, have my inputs. How does one go about actually doing that?
Right. So for now, this is of course the party-to-party sort of discussion, so that our structures who will be responsible for this bill at a grassroots level actually understand it. What we are also wanting to do is to have door-to-door campaigns and have community meetings which are not IFP meetings, because we want to hear what South Africans have to say. The bill is up on our website as well. There is a dedicated,
just please give that website,
www.ifp.org.za, and you'll follow the links on that. We will roll it out on our social media pages as well, the Twitter page, IFP in Parliament, so on. So it's all there, the information is there, and we are calling for a national discussion. We are calling on young people to engage in this bill, because we've also recognized that there is a disconnect between the elected representatives and the electorate, and so we want to bridge that gap and ensure that we are accountable to the public. And so this is not an IFP bill for IFP people, it's an IFP bill for South Africans, and that is very, very important. And so we are saying, talk to us, engage with us, so that we can be in a position to strengthen it and enrich it. The bill will be going to NEDLEC as well, as per the requirements that Parliament has actually given, and we are hoping that NEDLEC will be in a position to deal with this bill constructively, and will be assisting Comrade Lisa van der Merwe, whom is named this bill is in the public hearings. As she champions it, she will have to appear before the portfolio committee and unpack it, explain it and defend it. And I think that whilst we will be there, we are calling on South Africans to be part and parcel of this process as well. We will be rolling out a petition program, a signature program, for those that want to actually support it, because in our view it opens up a fundamentally important discussion, because it deals with the job structuring in South Africa and excess thereof, but it also forces those who are in the business space to have a meaningful discussion about the processes and protocols of employment.
Mr. Hlengo, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Of course, that was Umkhululeko Hlengo, just also unpacking this bill, and also just making a point there, saying that this bill is not xenophobic, but of course it prioritizes, South Africans and especially young people. This comes at a time where our unemployment rate is actually sitting at 65.5%, and I mean, COVID-19 has actually exacerbated the situation in our country, where we know that 2 million people had actually lost their jobs through this pandemic. And hopefully the IFP is saying that through this bill, which will be tabled before Parliament, where various political parties will have to vote for it, will actually pass, and through that the plight of young South Africans will be alleviated. Of course, as SABC News and Kolisi, we will be taking that briefing, or I beg your pardon, that address by Hlabisa live possibly, and of course he is expected to come here anytime soon, where he will be addressing the IFP's youth brigade. So I do implore you to stay glued to SABC News on Channel 4. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
We certainly will be keeping an eye on that. Thanks very much indeed, Natasha. We will be touching base with